Well, the one thing that we have to think about is where the epidemic started and what groups it started in. For example, in the UK, the epidemic started amongst homosexual men. In Africa, it started amongst heterosexual people. So in Africa, it spread widely. In the UK, it stayed within homosexual groups and people coming from high prevalent settings in Africa. So that's one issue, is where it started. Another issue is around sexual behaviour. Although the sexual behaviour of people in high prevalence African countries is not so different to the UK. If you look at young people in the UK get drunk on Saturday nights and have sex, and in African countries the young people are much the same. So it isn't that there's something very different between the sexual behaviour of young people in Africa and in the UK. But there is more poverty in Africa, and this has an impact. Firstly, people are more susceptible to the virus because they may be malnourished and their immune systems are not so good at resisting it. There may be differences in the virulence of the virus. There may be differences in the genetic susceptibility of people to HIV. Also, because of poverty, there's a lot of trading sex. That girls and women sell sex for material gain in order to survive or to feed their children or to pay their school fees. So there's a lot of sex for that reason. If people sell sex, they're not in such a strong position to demand the use of condoms to protect themselves. So that's another issue. Also, the availability of services is not so good in very poor settings. It's like you can't get condoms, you don't get information, you don't get treatment for sexually transmitted infections. And all of these things contribute to the virus spreading much more quickly between different people.